Hey everybody, it's author MD New, and I am back again with a new reading. This one is from my newest novel, Conspiracy, A New World, Book 3, which I am very, very proud of. This has been such a long time coming. It's taken quite a while to get this book out into print, given the issues with publishing and all the delays thanks to, well, the thing that will not be shared. Anyway, um, so today I am reading from Conspiracy, A New World, Book 3, which is this book right here, which I am very proud of. I love the cover. I think it looks absolutely amazing and really kind of captures bits and pieces of what's going to happen in the book. So I hope you check it out. I hope you enjoy this reading. First, let me do a brief description of the book in case you are new here and you haven't read any of my books and you aren't familiar with my sci-fi series, A New World. A little blue world, the third planet from the sun. It's home to 7 billion people with all manner of faiths and beliefs and customs, divided by bigotry and misunderstanding, who have been told that they are not alone in the universe. Anyone watching from the outside would pass by this fractured and tumultuous world, unless they had no other choice. It's been a little over a year since Todd Landon's life changed with the arrival of the Nentraee. Continuing his duties as Special Envoy for Terran Affairs, Todd finally feels at home with the aliens, gaining more responsibility and influence with both races. Plans are underway for two interplanetary spaceports and additional solar exploration. It's an exciting time for both humans and Nentraee. But not everyone and not everything is as perfect as some hope. Speaker General Mirtov and Vice Speaker Miko of the Nentraee are worried that the Liberi plot additional terrorist attacks and may have inside help. Threats are clear, but who can they trust? Could Todd be helping them unknowingly? Or worse, covertly? Will these new space endeavors continue to bring the humans and the Nentraee together? Or will a conspiracy hiding in the shadows fracture all around them and ruin an already shaky alliance? So that's a little bit about Book 3. And I'm going to be reading from Chapter 1, the very first chapter of the book. Um, Basically, it picks up about 6 months after the events of the last book or so, 4 to 6 months. And we are starting with Todd, Chapter 1. The security training area appeared ordinary, especially since the space was in a secured part of the ship. Yes, the location had grass and a few shrubs outside the facade, but the endless sky feeling didn't exist here. Overall, the space had been built more for function and less for form. Still, Todd was glad he had access to the location, and the gym had everything he needed for a good workout. Todd had even managed to have the Nentraee bring up some human gym equipment for his use, as he didn't want to risk his life on the Nentraee equipment. Sure, the human machines got a few odd looks from the Nentraee security when he and Dan used them, but Vinarm confided in him. Several of the security personnel tried the pieces and used them when no humans were around. He cracked his neck, thinking of his earlier conversation with Brad. Seeing his brother again would be a nice treat, and Brad had been correct. Too much time had passed since he had seen Brad or the rest of his family down on Earth. The infrequent visits weren't all his fault. So much had changed over the last year, and he had a lot of work to do, especially knowing Liberi continued to lurk out there, waiting. A shudder ran down his spine. The death of the leader of Liberi still haunted him. Too bad you won't live long enough to find out, they said to him. What had they been organizing? Their death was a shame, really, killed by their own people before he found out what they and Liberi actually wanted. However, they were still out there planning, which added to Todd's frustration of late. Miko and Mirtov no longer included him in anything to do with the terrorist organization, saying keeping him detached from the matter, kept him safe. Todd had no reason to doubt them, but something tickled the back of his mind, and he wasn't sure if this was the only reason they kept him in the dark about Libri Day. He missed the tick of his pocket watch. So much had changed. He dug through his bag, pulled out his pocket watch, and checked the time. Where is he? Todd huffed and returned the timepiece to the gym bag. Dan should have been here 20 minutes ago. At this rate, Todd would barely have enough time for their workout and to get changed and ready for the interview. A chirp called his attention. Todd reached into his bag and pulled out his data pad. Now what? He tapped the pad to activate the device. Dan! Todd's voice called out louder than he had hoped, but no one around him seemed to notice. Where are you? You're late. I know. Dan's expression remained flat, with no Dan-ness to flavor his words. Listen, I'm heading to Earth. I have to see my family and take care of some things. What? Is everything okay? Yeah, fine. Dan's tone faltered, and his expression sank. They're fine. Sorry. Just a lot going on, and my mom isn't getting any younger. I get it. My parents, look, I have to go. I'll talk to you soon. When you... The communication ended, and the Nentraee government seal appeared. What the hell? Todd shook his head and dropped the pad back into his bag. Todd raked a hand through his hair. Well, now he'd have plenty of time to get ready for the interview. He made his way over to the lockers to change into his professional clothes and ceremonial robe. Once Todd cleaned up, he made his way out the locker room doors. Special Envoy, a deep, familiar voice caught Todd's attention as he left the facility. He turned to see Bynarm standing there in the equivalent of workout wear, loose pants and a flowy top. Hi, Bynarm. Shouldn't you be getting ready to meet with GNN? Todd nodded. I plan to get in some training with Dan today, but if you'd like to train, I would be happy to work out with you after your duties. Bynarm tossed her long ponytail over her shoulders. Todd picked at the deep blue ceremonial cloak, the one given to him by Miko and Mirtov to represent his standing in Nentraee society. The cloak draped over his shoulders, and the wide embroidered collar with silver stitching sparkled as the threads caught the light. He checked the two large silver clasps with matching deep blue stones attaching the cloak to his shoulders. The end of the cloak dusted the floor, revealing the embroidery, and the stitching continued down to each of the 8 symbols representing the Nentraee clans, and the one chosen to represent humans. Do I look okay? Todd asked. You look respectable for your position and the purpose of your meeting, Bynarm said. And with that shining endorsement, I'll head off. He winked at Bynarm, his smile broadening. Thanks for the offer to work out. I'll have to take you up on it, especially if Dan keeps ditching me. On his way out, he spared one more glance over his shoulder to the facility and the surrounding area. Dan and he were supposed to work out twice a week, and yet over the last several months, Dan had canceled many of their get-togethers. Not just his workouts, either. Each time they met, Dan appeared more preoccupied, more distant. He shook his head. At least he still had Brad's visit to look forward to, even if he would be here for a week. Even if he would be here for work and not play. He felt the tick of his pocket watch and marched in time with each tick. Once he found the viewport, he glanced out, seeing one of the Speaker General's ship's parks. A group of Ixmi flew by, the deep blue of their feathers, a contrast to the yellow leaves of the Nabu-Timbia tree. He chuckled and shook his head. Recent events seemed insane to him, like something out of a sci-fi series. What a year, he nodded as he continued to the interview and meeting with GNN. So, that is a little bit of the reading of Conspiracy, A New World, Book 3. We get to see some of the characters. We don't get to meet all of them, but get a viewpoint from Todd, who's one of our main characters, and one of his counterparts, Bynarm, and of course we get to hear a little bit from Dan, and we get to know a little bit more about Brad, Todd's brother. So I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you can forgive the fact that I stumbled through a few places. I haven't done one of these in a bit, so that's why I'm back here doing them, get back in the swing of things. You can find more information about my books in the links below. And follow me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm usually around on social media. I'm going to try and be more active here on YouTube as I'm developing some other stuff. I want to start doing like writing tips and those sort of things more often to kind of keep the page and this channel more active. So, hope you guys have a great day. Looking forward to doing more of these in the future. See you soon. Bye.